All right, and hello, welcome everyone. I'm Jennifer Britton at Potentials Realized, and we're really excited to have this short introductory call about our new 70 and 125-hour certificates in either group coaching or team coaching. You might be very familiar with my writing. I'm the author of Effective Group Coaching and From One to Many, Best Practices for Group and Team Coaching. And for the last 18 years, I've been focused on supporting team and group coaches like yourself up their game. To this point in time, we've really enjoyed offering a selection of ICF continuing coach education programs, also known as ICF-CCE approved programs. And that's been wonderful. Certainly, there have been a lot of changes in the world of group and team coaching in the last 18 years. And as always, we love to be at that edge. We love to be at the edge of looking at what's next. One of the what's next in this part of our profession is that there is a professionalization and specialization that's happening around group and team coaching. As many of you know, 2 years ago, the ICF launched the new ICF team coaching competencies. And that work was done over a 2 year period starting back in 2020. I, along with many others, partnered with ICF to feed into this process, which really led to the validation and expansion of what we know as needed for exceptional group and team coaches. As a thought leader in this space, as a researcher, and as a coach trainer in this space for many, many years, I know how important it is to create the best cadre or the best army of group and team coaches to help support our clients who are navigating a world that is continuously complex, ever changing, and requiring deep levels of trust and connection. To this point in time, we've been contacted on a regular basis saying, hey, do you offer a certificate program? And until recently, we used to say, you know what, we start coaches. We help coaches get started with group coaching. And so many thousands of you have joined us for the Group Coaching Essentials program in the last 16 years. I first launched that program in January of 2006. And every month, or even sometimes twice a month, I've taken dozens of you through the program. That has been a great starting point, and for most coaches was enough to get them started. Increasingly in the last few years, more and more coaches have continued on with us in their journey in the advanced group and team coaching practicum. And that is another ICF CCE approved program giving coaches practice and feedback opportunities. Again, we've now seen that coaches have taken that out into the world, and many have come back to us yet again for a third time for team coaching essentials. Because as they've stepped into their own practice and in partnering with organizational clients, they're often asked, great, do you offer team coaching as well? And so we have been offering Team Coaching Essentials as a standalone program now for more than 2 years. Some of you know that in the last decade plus, Team and Group Coaching Essentials were together, but now they're two separate programs. Well, again, as professionalization and specialization happens, we've recognized that we want to continue to be at the leading edge of this conversation. And it's no longer enough just to have foundational skills in group coaching, team coaching, along with some practice. There's ongoing evolution, including you as a coach with your presence, including understanding how to work with diverse teams and exceptionally challenging instances. It's also about learning how to co-coach better, because so much of this work is about collaborating with another coach or co-coaching with internal resources. And so as I go through our new 70 and 125-hour programs, you're going to look at really some of the programs you've heard about for some time, but now seeing them in a arc. So for more information on this, as we get going, just note that we're just starting to launch this in fall of 2022. In fact, we're going to be taking our first group through the 70 and 125-hour certificates starting this November 2022. And I like to say it's an opportunity for you to sharpen your skills and amplify your practice. So you have a choice. And why there are two options is because some of you are going to want to have more extended skills. And note that at this moment in time, the ICF is in their final stages of finalizing the new advanced certificate in team coaching. I was one of 135 people who have gone through the pilot. In the pilot, all applicants were required to do a minimum of 60 hours of specialized training in team coaching. Hence why we're aiming a little higher than that for 70.75 hours. Having worked with thousands of you over the last 18 years as a coach trainer, as a supervisor, as an author and researcher in this space, mastery in group and team coaching is not a 1 month journey. It is an ongoing extended journey. And even for those of us as senior master practitioners, it requires ongoing reflection, ongoing adjustment, and ongoing evolution in terms of our skill base. And that's why we're offering these two options, the 70.75 hour program stream, which includes 6 of our programs, as well as a more extended 125 hours. So the intent of today's call is to take you through these different courses. Again, some of you have been alumni with us, not only for 1 program or 2 programs, many of you have come to us for 3 or 4 programs in the last decade and a half. So if that is you, if you are one of our alumni, there are thousands of you out in the world, I hope you're going to look at this and go, ooh, that's really interesting. You know what? I could get my 70-hour certificate if I added on a few new programs. Or maybe you might be saying, you know what? I worked with Jennifer back in 2007. I'd love to come back and brush up. And you can do that. There will be provision for an alumni to join us, rejoin some of the programs that you took maybe more than 5 years ago, a decade ago, 15 years ago, to join us at an alumni rate. So this fall is going to be really when we kick things off. We are always going to continue to offer our 5 and 6 week training, but this fall, starting in November 7th, I'll be taking a group of coaches through some of the intensive courses. So for you as an experienced practitioner, if you prefer to learn in that intensive environment, definitely keep your eyes and ears open, because from the 7th of November through to the 20th of November, I'll be consolidating some of these programs, and that is a stream that would be applicable for someone who already brings group or team coaching experience and practice. This is not an ideal solution in its full complementarity of 5, 6, 7 courses for the new group or team coach. For people who are new to this part of our profession, it's really critical that your learning journey includes breathing time, application time. But there are many of you who might have been coaching and coaching teams and groups for a decade plus. If that is you, you might actually find this accelerated intensive format to be a great prompter, refresher, and perhaps a solidifier of the skills that you bring. Note that one of our distinctions, a couple things that are different about our training at Potentials Realized, there are 3 things. First of all, our small focus. And that small does not mean simple, but we really continue to take pride in having small cohorts of learners going through. Most programs, including those that you will see on the screen, are going to have a cap at 10 to 15 people maximum. In fact, a lot of our virtual learning is in the smaller range, 6 to 8. So some courses are going to be a bit bigger than others. Some are going to be on the smaller end. And why we keep it that size is so that they can be interactive, that they can reflect the best practice of group and team coaching. As many of you know, ICF has put a cap at group and team size. For one coach to hold the space for a group or team coaching process, we can only take it up to 15 people ourselves. Beyond 15, it means that we need to explore co-coaching, co-facilitated opportunities. And that's something that the ICF really took a stand around back around 2009. So this is not a new thing. This is something that's been part of our evolving profession. The more people we have in a room, the more it becomes facilitation than training. So let's take a look at this, again, 70-hour, just to go back here, we're looking first at the 70-hour, which really includes a 6-course roadmap. And this, again, will be of interest to both seasoned and new coaches. It's starting out with programs you've heard me talk about for a long time. Our first program, of course, being Group Coaching Essentials. It's our flagship program. I've been running it since 2006, when the word group coaching raised the eyebrows of coaches across our profession. We know now that it is such an important modality for bringing people together, for connecting people, giving them a chance to connect in, find common ground so that they can set their goals, look at what's next, and look at amplifying their skills. And really, group coaching essentials hasn't changed that much in the last 16, almost 17 years of running. It's an 8.75 CCE approved program. Typically, it runs for 5 weeks, 75-minute calls. And during that time, we look at the foundations. We look at exploring the best practices for design, implementation, and marketing group coaching. Whether you are out doing this virtually or in person or hybrid, whether you are in organizations or running your own programs with parents or leaders, business owners or youth, we've had coaches of all kinds and all backgrounds come through the program and find value. It's not just for new coaches. It is, many MCCs have taken the program because they also recognize that there is a distinction, there is a difference in coaching many and holding that space versus just one-on-one coaching. So if you want to start the learning journey, this is a place to start. If you have taken group coaching essentials with us, and you might be one of the thousands who have, this is something that you'll want to set up a call with us. Maybe you want to do a refresh. Maybe you want to start at the start again. And as I said, there is an alumni rate for those who want to refresh, who have been with us 5 years or more behind. Now, the second program, where some of you might say, but wait, I want to do team coaching. And what we found in the last 18 months of experimenting with the on-ramp to our learning, even team coaches benefit from taking group coaching essentials, because in group coaching essentials, we really start at the start at the foundational core competencies and looking at how do we design masterfully for many. Group coaching essentials also provides an opportunity for you to leave with a program framework. And so while we build upon that in team coaching essentials, team coaching really is more complex. In a team coaching engagement, we're working with a leader and his or her team. We're focusing on alignment. We're often getting much more into the depths of systems work. And within that complexity, we are looking at enhancing skills on a couple of new levels. We're still looking at design, marketing, and implementing team coaching. But in this instance, we are also looking at how do we co-coach? How do we hold a team system? What do we need to know about team effectiveness? So notice the typo here. This is actually Team Coaching Essentials is about team coaching. It is typically run as a 6-week, 90-minute program. I also offer a design sprint. So I do a separate session with the group, and that is to help you also quickly get ideas out of your head and onto paper. You'll notice in most of the programs, we also make reference to the blended learning assignment. So in this program, there is also the blended learning assignment and some additional peer work to undertake. That rounds out the 14 hours of the continuing coach education. And as you can see here, it is in that roundabout. Again, some coaches may want to join us first with Team Coaching Essentials. For some, that's okay, but we really have been finding that the best starter course is Group Coaching Essentials, followed by Team Coaching Essentials. That's going to give you the rounding out of the coaching many, because typically when we get a call from an HR or an OD professional or a team leader even, they may be saying, you know, I want a group, but actually it's a team. Or sometimes they say we're working with a team, but it's a group. So really understanding the nuance and how those operate is part of this learning journey. Our third course is the Advanced Group and Team Coaching Practicum, and that's been offered since 2010. As a practitioner myself, it is all about getting out and having the conversation. Coaching is not something we learn by just hearing. It's something we learn by doing. So in the 6-week Advanced Team and Group Coaching Practicum, that's a 10 CCE program. And in that, we turn the tables. You get the opportunity to practice and get feedback on your skills. And we keep our group size small, typically 4 to 6 coaches, so that you don't only just get one opportunity to practice, you get 2 opportunities to lead a conversation and get feedback, written and verbal, on your core coaching competencies. Again, AGTC, as we call it by short, is interest and value for people who are going both in the experienced realm or the newer realm. So our 4th program is all about activating your group and team coaching superpowers, because part of this is about helping you understand who you are. And as team coaches, as group coaches, it's really important that we expand our range. We all have wonderful innate skills that we hone. And in coaching many, we usually are invited to expand that range. So activating your team and group coaching superpowers is one of our newer courses. It's recommended as a 4th in the series, and that is built upon our new group and team coaching superpower quiz. Again, having worked with thousands of you who coach many over the last decade and a half, I've seen really 5 sort of main archetypes of coaches evolve in the space. And as coaches of many, as coaches of both teams and groups, we don't just want to stay in our primary strengths. We actually want to evolve across all 5 areas. I could do at least a half hour, if not several hours on this. This is why we now have the Activating Your Group and Team Coaching Superpower program, one of our newest programs, where it really helps you explore who you are as a coach. What's your presence? What are your natural go-tos? What are those elements? And that is important on multiple levels. It's always important for us to understand who we are. It's also critical because in that space of coaching many, the complexity of groups and teams, you are going to look around and recognize, wow, this person in the group needs me to be slowing down my pace, while that person needs me to be speeding it up. So part of the Activating Your Team and Group Coaching Superpowers framework is to really give you more self-awareness so that you can be more strategic and intentional in dialing up and dialing back your skills. It's also important on a 3rd level that I haven't mentioned yet, but I mentioned a few minutes ago, and that being co-coaching. Again, in the team coaching realm especially, we increasingly, with the complexity of the world of our clients, are really finding best practice as being co-coaching. Some of you may have read my chapter on co-facilitation and co-coaching back in From One to Many, best practices for team and group coaching. Even a decade ago, we knew how important it was, but now more than ever, really helping ourselves become more masterful with that in team coaching is essential. And you'll notice that program 4, as well as program 6 of this 70-hour stream, really is all about co-coaching. So I'm going to jump to course number 6, which is the last of the 70-hour stream. But Co-Coaching Essentials is going to be a 14-hour program. I will be piloting it in November, so next month. And it's going to be an expansion of what we've been doing across several other programs over the last decade. Again, Co-Coaching Essentials is going to be built upon the group and team coaching superpower quiz so that you understand what your natural affinities are, what your natural go-tos are. As we know, under stress and pressure, i.e. when we're with a team in conflict, it's likely that those skills and strengths are going to get amplified. So in Co-Coaching Essentials, we're going to look at what happens to your strengths when they get over leveraged, and what do you want to do and need to do in order to activate that range when you partner with others. So we're going to be spending a good 5-6 weeks, depending on the program orientation, looking at how you can position yourself more effectively and intensively or intentionally as a co-coach, right? And whether you're co-coaching with another coach who's external, or increasingly what we're also seeing in a lot of organizations to sort of help with the fiscal pressures of this work as well. Sometimes we're collaborating and co-coaching and partnering with one or more internal resources. So how do you do that? And that's really the heart of the Co-Coaching Essentials, which we're putting as program number 6. Now, before we get there, we don't want to lose our focus on the teams and the groups and the systems that we work with. And as many of you know, last year, 2021, I launched the Hybrid Work Styles Quiz. It's been an amazing journey in the last year to talk to thousands of team members, organizations, and business professionals around the hybrid work styles quiz. And again, we want to provide coaches with an opportunity to think not only of working with that quiz, but working with diverse teams. What do teams need? What, again, are teams looking for? How do we bring teams together? How do we create alignment when we're working in contexts which may be cross-cultural, intercultural, global? We may work in environments where you have culture change happening due to mergers, acquisitions. You may have teams that are teaming, right? And again, teams that are ever changing. So teams are not static. And really, Program 5 is diving into these areas that so many of us talk about: teaming, rapid change, complexity. How do we really coach in those environments? So as you know, from my body of work as a researcher in this space, I'm quite agnostic, right? I really love to look at what are the different models we as practitioners can be informed by. And so in program number 5, this is really diving into the heart of team effectiveness. It's diving into the heart of the amazing models that are being created and continue to be created across research institutions around the world. We'll be looking at everything from the work, research, and writing of people like Amy Edmonston, Ruth Wagerman, going back to Kazenbach and Smith, and many of the other research that is coming out now when we coach to agility, or coach in agile, when we're coaching in complexity, etc. So notice program 5 includes practice and feedback opportunities as well. And as you continue through this arcing, you'll notice that many of the programs have practice and feedback. So that dark blue, course number 6, or the co-coaching, is really the end of the 70-hour stream. And why it's 70 hours is because for those that are going to be working towards their ACTC, the Advanced Certification in Team Coaching with ICF, you are going to be asked to prove that you have taken an additional 60 hours of training in team coaching or group coaching. And so these courses, the 6 courses, will combine to give you 70 hours and a certificate that you can really demonstrate that you've done that. Now, as some of you might say, well, is that enough? And of course, for many of us as seasoned learners, seasoned practitioners, we realize there's even more. So our specialization here at Potentials Realized has always been virtual, remote, and hybrid work. I opened the doors to this business in 2004, and our specialization, even then, pre-pandemic, 2004, was about how do we bring people together from across the world to really look at the challenges that exist. Intercultural work, interdisciplinary work has been at the heart of my personal and professional DNA since my early 20s. So 3 decades in, I'm still looking at what is essential in creating mastery in this space. Certainly the last 3 years has brought to a focus the imperative of having great virtual skills, the ability to bring people together. And within that, we want to also make sure that we are looking at core skills. So our virtual facilitation essentials, which was very popular in 2020, is course number 7. Some of you may have taken this during the pandemic. And if that's you, you can apply that as part of that 125-hour stream. We've also increasingly been hearing from coaches that they want more in the business development space. And many of you know that my 2018 book was Coaching Business Builder. So we are taking the best of what we've been looking at in the Coaching Biz Growth Lab, annual programs that I'll continue to facilitate, and I'm putting it in a much shorter, more compact 14-week program. Okay, so it's bi-weekly calls over a 14-week period. This is where you'll be able to build out your business systems and for your team and group coaching work. Proposals, tracking, assessment elements. These are things that don't seem to take a lot of time, but they really can take a lot of time. And our final 2 in the 125-hour stream, of course, is sort of our major touch point, Reconnecting Workspaces Certified Coach. This program has now been running for the last year and a half, 15 months actually, since June of 2021. And that is grounded in my writing and research in the Reconnecting Workspaces. This program helps you build out a toolkit to support individuals, groups, teams, and organizations in the evolving workspace. And finally, capstone program will be number 10, which really I'm framing as team coaching approaches, experiential exercises, learning, and neuroscience. And again, having touched on many of these topics along the first few in the courses, this will give you an opportunity to continue to build out your toolkit, do it intentionally, and hopefully connect the dots. So I think that's where I wanted to go. For information on this, a couple of places, head on over to groupcoachingessentials.ca. All of this, either the 70-hour or the 125-hour program, will also have a supervision component. Some of you may have been with us for our recent calls that we started doing in June, talking about coaching supervision for team coaches, coaching supervision for group coaches, and also supervision for individual coaches. Personally, I am training, I'm in the process of wrapping up my training with CSA, Coaching Supervision Academy. I'll have my diploma in coaching supervision, which is formalizing what I've been doing as a mentor, coach, and supervisor since 2007. So I continue to learn as well, and really hope that you may join us for one-on-one coaching supervision or a group process. And those groups run the first Thursday of every month from 12 to 1:30 p.m. That runs, you can join at any time in the year. You're invited to bring your coaching cases and explore them in a small group format. So my watch is no longer running. I'm going to get Rita to put in the chat what time we're at. I think we're almost at time, but there are some FAQs that I'm going to be responding to in separate time windows. So we've addressed many of these as we've gone. Like, what if you've already taken some of our courses, like Group Coaching Essentials? You can apply them. We would really recommend, however, if you took them 5 years or more ago, might be time for a refresh. And we are offering an alumni rate for those who have taken the programs 5 years or more ago and want to do a refresh. What if you want to take the programs a la carte? Absolutely, you can. You don't have to even take them in order, although there is rationale for why they are laid out in this way. But some of you may notice, like, well, facilitation essentials. Can't I take facilitation essentials early? Absolutely. So what we do invite you to do is set up a call. I'm always, Mondays and some Tuesdays and Thursdays, meeting with prospective coaches who are interested in this work. Book a call, head on over to calendly.com/Jen Britton, JENNBRITTON. And this is going to be highly customized. So you can take these a la carte. Just know that there is a special pricing. There is a discounted price if you sign up in the 125-hour stream or 70-hour stream. What about if you want more practice? And just know that many of the programs, including dedicated programs like the Practicum, Co-Coaching Essentials, and also some of the later courses invite you to actually practice as you go. Reconnecting Workspaces certified coaches actually get Practicum experiences every week past the first week. So it's not only just about putting ideas in your head, it's about getting your voice around these conversations. And for those that want to learn more intensively, in November 2022, starting on November 7th, running to November 20th, I'll be taking a group through 6 or 7 of these 10 courses in a very intensive manner. Again, for those that want to really double down on the training initially, that is going to be the start point. Most of those courses will have a follow-on part, like 1 hour, 2 hour meeting in December and January to really help you synthesize your learning. But that will be ideal for people who really want to drop in and have that intensive burst of learning. Also, final 2 questions before we drop off. What models do you use? Again, as a practitioner, everything is grounded in the ICF core coaching competencies. And so that is our foundation. It will continue to be our foundation. We work with coaches of all different disciplines, but we always bring it back to the ICF. From a research perspective, I will be drawing upon both the seminal research of the last 3 to 4 decades in this field, as well as where we're evolving to in the space. And just know that I've been very involved in research and writing in the space since publishing the world's first book on group coaching back in 2009. I continue to be looking, always scanning at what's happening. What can you expect to learn? I think in addition to really making great connections, you will get tools and practices and approaches you can use time and time again. And I say that with confidence because since 2006, I've been training coaches to do this work. People find amazing ways to use it directly and indirectly in their work. So that is it. We have another community call coming. I hope that you will join us this fall, and just know that you're always invited to join us at 12 noon on Tuesdays for our community calls. And that's what we're going to go to next. So for more information, head on over to groupcoachingessentials.ca. If you go to groupcoachingessentials.com, you'll see our older website, but groupcoachingessentials.ca will have all our books, our digital products, our CCE approved programming, as well as mentor coaching, coaching supervision, and ongoing development. So we look at ourselves as a one-stop shop for all things group and team coaching. I work very closely with our team, Ivana Valet, Rita Pecan, and also Miss Kathy Vaughn. So with that, thank you for spending time. I'm going to stop the recording for this call because it is now time to move into our next call. So I will stop the recording and just want to say thank you. If you have any questions, pop them in chat and I will respond to them in our different emails, email communication, newsletters, etc.